Gym leaders are sort of just plot devices shown in every Pokemon game. Other than Alola, because they wanted to be different. These characters can be so much more than just plot devices. But very rarely does a gym leader show up outside of their gym at all. So I'm here to change that with my 8th Water-type gym leader for the Dramic region. Now, I know I've literally only done one gym leader and I'm already on my 8th. And I know that I said there was level scaling, but I decided to change that because I wanted this guy to be the last battle you have. Because he's just a pretty cool character, based on the first fleet in Australia. And the first fleet is actually the people who first bring tea to Australia, which we'll talk more about later. Anyway, I wanted that really cool vibe from him, sort of like Wolfric. I almost said Volkner, it's very different from Volkner. Anyway, he's sort of like a Marine Admiral from One Piece. And his lore is that when he was sailing on this ship, his Pokemon saved him from a torpedo attack that broke the ship and left all his friends to die. This was at the ripe and young age of 18, and he only survived because of his partner Pokemon. My whole idea for this game concept is survival and adapting, and he believes that survival isn't the only thing this world has to offer, and protecting others is the real joy in life. He's ashamed of himself that he couldn't save the Sharpedo that was clearly enraged, or his friends, and that still haunts him. You don't see his eyes at all, sort of like a Brock, but it's not for a fun effect. It's a little more serious this time. He's ashamed of what he's done, and he's stayed here for years and years. Though he looks pretty good, he is 70 or 80, I think. Anyway, yeah, back to the little bit happier part of the video. Don't forget to sub and like, by the way, because making these ideas and drawings takes some time, and I don't get paid for this at all. So your support is all the pay I get. Anyway, I decided to make him black because we don't have a lot of black characters in Pokemon. Other than Nessa and that one girl from Black and White that I am forgetting the name of. Lenora, right? Yeah, Lenora. Anyway, yeah. What I forgot to mention is this guy is still gonna use a fire type on his team. Even though he's a water type leader, he's not just a water type leader. As I've said, all of my gym leaders are sort of dual type leaders. Gustav was ground and flying, and this guy's fire and water. This is where the tea comes in again. So his ace Pokemon is gonna be a little teacup that evolves into something pretty cool. Just wait and see, man. Get it? Sea man, like sea man, like sea man, like a sea man, like a man on the sea, which this guy is. I'm so funny, dude. And this guy's gonna be named Arthur, based on Arthur Phillip, who is from New South Wales and was pretty important to the fleet. Actually, Phillip might also be a good name. Huh. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. You comment. Or I'll do a poll on my community tab. And whatever, I'll figure it out. For now, he's just Arthur Phillip. I wanted to give him an orange beard just to draw attention to the face. So yeah, I can't wait for me to show you his ace Pokemon. So here's Arthur Phillip, because again, we don't know his name. I really like him. Such a daunting task trying to fight someone this powerful. Someone who's dedicated the majority of their life to Pokemon training. Anyway, now to his little fun guy. It's gonna be a little teacup, and I didn't want it to be too similar to Sinistea, but it ended up being pretty different. I thought it was really clever to make the holder thing. There's probably a word for it that I don't know. But I wanted to make that like a little chip steering wheel, which I thought was pretty clever. And I wanted the water to be coming out of it. And I knew that I wanted its evolution to be a dual fire-water type. And I handled that in a pretty unexpected, for me and probably you, and a creative way. So just wait and see. I think the personality of this guy is really nice. And he would be like in the back of his evolved form. And he also kind of looks like a yogurt cup, honestly. Like if someone told me it looked like a yogurt cup, I'd honestly, yeah. So here's Upton. He's a cup captain, but he's a baby. So maybe Cuptini. Oh yeah, let's watch him evolve. This Pokemon is based on the Stethicanthus and the Geocaprion. I said Geocaprion because that's a Pokemon subjectively. It's called a Heliocaprion or something. I think I'm just really stupid. Anyway, as you could probably tell, I took a lot of inspiration from Subjectively's Fakemon. Go watch his channel, by the way. He doesn't do as much Fakemon stuff now, but he still does a lot of cool stuff, so go there. And I definitely wanted to include that fire aspect, but it felt a little weird just to make this Pokemon just fire and water with different parts of its body, and it also felt weird to make it just fire when it was previously a water type. It just didn't feel right to me to have both water and fire elements where just 2 fire spots could be, so I decided to go for the fire, but I'll change it up later. Also, the little teacup holder thing is now a wheel. It's obviously based on a boat in some way, and that wheel is like making everything work together. And this is where the idea of giving it 2 different forms came. Crazy, right? 2 different forms for one Pokemon? Who would ever thought? Well, I didn't really consider that until now, or like two seconds later I considered it. In the design. What am I saying? Anyway, let me keep going. I modeled that fire. I just did. Like, I didn't base it off anything. I just did, and it ended up looking pretty good, so I only had to do 1 take. And this is where I started deleting the fire so I could make 2 different forms that were in the exact same pose, because I'm not making 2 different forms with that look basically the exact same. Like, no, I'm not making 2 different poses for that. I'm sorry. I do a lot for this channel, but I'm not making 2 different poses for like the same Pokemon. Anyway, yeah. And then I do some work on another thing, which I'll show you now. It's just some shading, which I copied back. So here's Helicapton from Helicoprion and Captain. Also, the Helicoprion part comes in that little wheel that I talked about earlier. So yeah, this is the final gym leader. And I'm sure that Pokemon would have some sort of ability that makes it so water type moves can hit it for super effective. Sort of like Well-Baked Body. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and bye, sub and like.